I tell you what, do you have all the games pulled up like at the same time?
I've got them on different tabs.
Okay, gotcha. So you can switch back and forth a little bit
Yeah.
sure than I can, because I'm just I'm going in and punching in the usernames and just observing each one individually.
Oh, so you can't have different tabs open?
Unfortunately, not that I know of. At least not on the app. So if you have honestly, if you have a game that you want to look at or that you're noticing is getting interesting, you just let me know and I'll pop over to that game.
Okay, yeah, if you just want to start on board one with Chinrip, that's Roman Kozelov.
Sure.
Looks like they're down to rooks and one minor PC.
Okay. Just a moment here. There we go. Oh, okay, interesting. So material is equal and black has two passed pawns. Interesting. Yeah, this is definitely looking very good for black, I would say. Um, I don't know. It doesn't seem like white can quite hold this because I'm thinking yeah, rook a6, knight c4, rook d1, d2, and then knight d2 to follow, and you just win the rook, right?
And in this one, Roman Kozlov has black against David Rolfing, who's their board four. He's 1905. So,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
and
Gotcha.
Roman's 2298. I guess they started with 1 versus 4 to begin with, it looks like.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Wow, and uh, looks like Roman got it.
All right. And then, let's see. Might look at Pandas. He's been knocking out board one every week.
Oh, okay. That's
Uh, Subham 777.
him 777. That's what I thought. Okay, this looks interesting. Hmm.
Last week he beat board one, and the week before that he got a draw against board one. So he's been kind of a deadly weapon for the States Cup.
That's awesome.
With COVID being over, I'm kind of worried he's going to start playing it over the board stuff, and his rating's going to go up. He helps our
Yeah,
average a lot.
right. Oh, that's great. This is interesting. I don't know what to make of this. I'm trying to make some stuff happen on the clean side. I don't know. Yeah, for C4, I particularly just kind of make a half pawn on D4. Interesting.
Oh, I'm supposed to enter the results. I better get my other laptop open. Usually it's the home team. They distinguish between home and away teams for different responsibilities, but
Okay.
the captain for the home team is going to stream for South Carolina. So,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
well, I'll be happy to put Roman's win in the win column here.
Nice. Yeah, Panda's game is interesting right now. 7. I don't have a computer evaluation up here. I wasn't really intending to anyway, because I didn't want to be, I don't know, I didn't want to be that guy looking at master games and being like, oh man, they missed the engine move. How dare they?
Yeah. For my analysis, he's 2.3 pawns down here, I think. And just give the computer an answer.
Right. But yeah, you're welcome to check it if you want, because I mean, it's helpful to have handy, but I don't think I even really can because of my phone situation. Okay, rook takes f7. What is going on here? Is that just an exchange sack, or is that a tactic? It's worth mentioning rook takes f7, bishop takes h5 doesn't seem to quite work because knight takes d2. And this is okay.
Panda's so fast too. He always seems to get these big time advantages against.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. I've been looking at the clock, but this is actually looking pretty good now. He's got a lot of pawns coming on the queen side. So that was really interesting. Rook takes f7 to remove it one of the defenders of the b3 knight, so he could win that pawn. And he's just got 3 pawns on the queen side. I would not want to play this position with 32 seconds as black by any means. Yeah, black's d pawn is just not strong enough.
I told Jared and Brian if the Missouri team's like mathematically in the playoffs, I was going to put myself at board 4, and I was joking, but I think they thought I was serious. I don't want to get anywhere near these guys.
Right. So yeah, it looks like you were right. Panda is really coming through here. This just looks completely winning, and his opponent has 18 seconds. Do we have any more results on the other boards?
It looks like Doug Eckert is still playing, and Gadson is still playing.
Well, man, there were so many people there on Friday. I was shocked.
Yeah, the club's really coming back strong. That's a lot of beginners and stuff too. So maybe that means it's got some fresh blood.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's funny because I was overhearing people, that I had never seen there before, talking about getting back into chess because of the show, and talking about streamers that they like and stuff like that. It's really wild. Yeah, you can tell like how much of an impact, not only the Queen's Gambit but also just the huge online streaming stuff.
Yeah,
it's really making a difference.
Well, I guess the Botez sisters signed some big contract, and I think Nakamura makes more money streaming than he does beating people at chess. So.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But I mean, it's good stuff. I've been watching a lot of different chess YouTubers recently, and I know there's a lot of really good ones. When I first started playing, there were like two, maybe that I found that I actually liked, and now, I mean, there's awesome chess channels like everywhere. It's great.
Yeah. And Doug's game looks a little bit more open. I don't know if the rook can go anywhere or not. But he's got Queen Rook Knight versus Queen Rook Bishop.
Oh, okay,
He's Dougie 47.
gotcha. Well, it looks like Isaiah just won.
Oh yeah.
His opponent just resigned.
All right.
I'm
So
trying to
Isaiah was
figure out.
playing Joel Jaffe, who's a 2143.
Wow. Okay. Let me pull up Doug's game here.
Oh, it says draw. Let's see.
Oh, it was a draw. Okay, I saw. I saw one of the. Okay, I saw his rating go up and his opponent's go down, and I immediately assumed resigns. I was like, why? I couldn't. I couldn't quite tell. I was like, so that makes more sense.
Got locked up in the middle, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't really. It was hard to find a way to break through for either side. Let's see. So Doug's game. Okay.
Yeah. So Asish won his game, and Dougie 47 is Doug Eckert. He's the only one still going.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, round one's been a pretty clean sweep. Let's see here. Equal. The b6 pawn you'd think would be a weakness, but since white has a light squared bishop, it's kind of hard to actually win that pawn. Let's see. G4. Yeah, I don't know. This looks about equal to me. White's got more activity, but I don't know. If I had to choose a side, I would choose white, but I don't know what the winning plan would be. But hey, 2 wins and 2 draws would not be bad for Missouri here, leading off.
Yeah, we kind of narrowly missed win last time, or the draw last time with the match. It was
Oh yeah.
by 1 point, and so we're one back on match point, but we had the lead on game points,
Okay.
which would help us in any ties. But Oklahoma forfeit last week, so they gave a free match point and 16 game points to Michigan. Well,
Yeah, I read.
Michigan shot to first place.
That's interesting. Yeah, Doug does also seem to be a small time disadvantage. But only 1 minute, or 2.5 minutes. Queen c5 though. This is interesting. I don't know. It seems.
Yeah, that's the win. Draw for Gadson. Win for Roman.
This looks dangerous for white now. Maybe. This could be tricky.
So you think white has an advantage, or you think it's a draw?
I mean, now at this point, I don't know. Black is. I mean, he's got the queen and the rook on the 7th. What's happening to trade queens here? Huh. I'm not so sure. It's interesting because both black and white's queens and rooks were able to kind of activate at the same time.
Black's knight hanging? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But now white can trade queens if he wants to. And then rook b5. A-pawn is kind of running short on defenders. Okay, rook b5, rook c3, attacking the e3 pawn probably. I don't know. White's going to get that outside passed pawn, so that's looking dangerous. The bishop's covering the queening square as well. It's very tricky. Doug is down to 17 seconds as well. Okay, he's got the rook behind the pawn. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he can actually get that pawn all the way up the board. I'm not sure if he can.
Trying to draw.
That's interesting. Yeah, the knight's covering f2 and g3, so the king can't come to g3. He could have, I don't know, he could have tried to walk the king over to the queen side. I'm not sure what would be going on there, but both players are short on time. The draw seems appropriate. So.
All right, so the good guys are up 3-1, and on the next one, Storin has white against Gadson, Jaffe has white against Panda, Kozelov has white against Staffa, and Eckert has white against Rolfing. Okay. All right, so we got Gadson's game pulled up.
Okay.
And he's playing their board one, or in a national match for 2240.
Okay. I apologize for camera movement, by the way.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
It'd be like MTV where the cuts a lot and stuff like that.
Right. That's character.
Extreme chess video or something.
Yeah. Benoni is interesting. I don't play it as black, and I don't face it very often as white. So I'm not an expert in these lines by any means. But black's willing to accept the backward B pawn. A lot of times gets good queenside play. So I'll pop up to Panda's game, see what's going on there.
Okay.
Wait for Isaiah's game to kind of get out of the opening. Okay, so we got French defensive in there. The French is interesting. I dabble in it sometimes, but I never can seem to stick to it. Because I'll see these games where people get this really great space on the queen side and just get these really interesting counter-attacking positions. And then I try to play it, and I get the bad versions of the French where my bishop just ends up useless, and my position just gets cramped, and I can't really make anything of it. I try to make the French work, but it just doesn't. It doesn't seem to like me. But this looks like a good position. I'm just wondering if it's going to be greedy and try to take on a6.
You're on Panda's game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Last week, they were talking about a game I wasn't on for about 3 minutes, and then I realized the rook couldn't make that move, and I asked them what they were looking at. I was like, man, these guys are a lot better than me. I didn't even see that move.
They're so good they can play illegal moves.
Yeah. That's what Jared made that joke Feingold makes about that's a grandmaster move I'm not allowed to make.
So I'm looking at like bishop takes a6. Maybe rook c7. Bishop b5. I don't know. Bishop b5 might not be good. Black might give the trade-off as light square bishop. I don't know. I don't know whether he has time to take that pawn or not. I switched back to Isaiah's game here.
Isaiah's game?
Yeah. And we can, if the other two have started, we can look at theirs as well. But Isaiah's got an interesting position going here. Looks like he's going to have some double pawns over there on h7 and h5, but he's going to have two bishops. An open g-file. My instinct with the bishop on c8 and the pawn on h3 would be to Put the king on h8, rook on g8. I just want to play for some queenside stuff. Bishop d7, d5. A little bit more thematic. Like I said, I don't play the Benoni, so I don't claim to know how to play it. He is at a pretty significant time disadvantage though. 13 minutes to 7. So that's a little concerning, but you never know what will happen. But I guess I can check out some of these other games that I'm sure have probably started at this point.
Yeah, they're all 4 on now.
Okay, gotcha. Are either of the other two?
Roman's got his queen way down on the other side of the territory here.
Okay. Let's check his game out. Okay. So he's up a pawn, it looks like. Interesting. Yeah, this looks pretty good for white. Black's pieces are a little bit awkwardly placed. The rook on f7, the bishop on b7 behind the pawn. The pawn is pinned to that bishop. The knight on b6, I don't know really where it's going. White's going to have these really good bishops on g2 and b2. Yeah, this definitely looks good for white. I don't know whether Black wants to... Yeah, I didn't know whether he was going to trade his queens or not. He's down material, so I wouldn't ordinarily want to trade queens in that situation, but rerouting that knight. It's just really a shame for Black that he can't. That bishop on b7 is just not looking very, very happy right now. So queen takes d6, bishop takes d6, rook takes, or sorry, not rook takes, just rook e6. Would be a line I would look at, steering the bishop and the c6 pawn. Maybe. And yes, you'd be trading off Black's bad piece, but at the same time, you'd be up 2 pawns, and including a protected passed pawn on c4. So I'd probably go for that. Looks like a pretty simple way to get an advantage. d6 and rook e6. How about that? I was right. But that does look like a really good position for Roman.
Yeah, so according to Stockfish, Roman has a 2.2 lead.
Nice. Let's see. So we haven't looked at Doug's game yet, have we?
Okay, so I'll pull up Doug. Uh-oh. Yeah, we haven't looked because I haven't got his game pulled up yet on this computer. I was watching it on the other one.
Okay, got it.
Forgot that I hadn't pulled it up on this one.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah, so Doug is playing. Doug Eckert has white against David Rolfing, who's a 1905. They're board 4.
Okay. This position looks. I don't know. Looks about equal. Both sides have some space. White's going to attack the d5 pawn, and black's going to attack the e5 pawn, but it looks to me like both of those can be protected. Be interested to see how this plays out. But it looks pretty equal, though. I mean, both sides have developed, their pieces. Both sides have centralized rooks, 2 bishops, space in the center. I suppose if I had to pick a side, I would take black, just because that e5 pawn might be a little bit more awkward to defend, but I don't think it's really a problem. That looks pretty level. So let's see, who have we not looked at for a minute?
Looks like Isaiah's got a bishop pinned. His bishop is pinned.
Yeah, I was just going to pull up his game. Interesting. So White's got that pawn on d5, and that worries me, because Black's pawns are a little bit askew. Got these pawns on h5, h7, f7, all isolated. And White's now got this pawn on d5 that looks pretty strong. Black is going to be hard pressed to find ways to. It's isolated, but Black doesn't have really any good way to attack it. I was thinking in the middle game that the exchange on h5 wouldn't be so bad for Black, but now that we've gotten into this endgame, it's the pawn structure on the Black side is just not looking great. But it's not over. Both players have about 5 minutes. Anything can happen. popping over to see how the secret weapon is doing. Panda over here.
Well, they did a big exchange on Gadson's game.
Oh, did they?
Now it's down to a rook and a bishop each.
Okay, let me pop back there. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, it's hard to say now that exchange has happened. Oh, on A4. See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm like, oh, white has a pretty good position, and then these exchanges happen, and I don't know. Suddenly all those pawns on light squares are actually looking pretty good because white can't really attack them. Yeah, suddenly this is looking kind of drawish. So I don't think either side. Black has a pawn on the A file that he might try to push, and white has this pawn on the D file, but I don't think either of them are advanced enough to pose a meaningful problem to the other side. Yeah, if that bishop for knight exchange on C3 wouldn't have been a possibility, then I think the position would have been really good for white. But yeah, suddenly now it's looking pretty equal.
And Panda's got about a 3 or 4 minute advantage on their board too. Jaffe.
It looked like he had a reasonable position. That pawn on, well, okay. That pawn on B4. I'm just wondering if white's ever able to trade off that pawn. Okay, so white is up 2 pawns, actually. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I take it back. Yeah, white is doing very well here. White's up 2 pawns, 2 clean pawns on the queen side. And if he can exchange off a set of pawns over there, he'll just have two passed pawns. But he's playing on the king side right now. That h7 pawn is hanging. f5 might be coming. Yeah, I'm sad to say this is not looking great for Panda.
So what's white's plan? You said the rook is coming? Or
So, I mean, he's got these extra pawns on the queen side. He could go... Okay, he's locked up the pawns on the king side. So it looks like... I mean, my first instinct would be to find some way to exchange off that b4 pawn and then just push the 2 extra pawns that he got.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
See, now now with the pawn on g5, the pawn on h6 is protected, and so that h7 pawn may actually be a problem. And yep, there it is.
Okay, so black resigned.
Yep. That h7 pawn is hanging. White might end up winning that. If he doesn't, if Black tries to defend it with the rook, then White's just going to do whatever he wants on the queen side. Like I said, probably just find a way to win or exchange off that pawn on b4, and then just push the queen side pawns. And I don't think Black will be able to do much. So let's see, what other...
Okay, looks like Roman won his game.
Roman won his game?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a point for us.
Nice.
So far, it's a big round for White.
Yeah. So, let's see. I take it Isaiah's game probably... I didn't see that one going much past a draw. Yeah, it just looks like both of those pawns can be stopped. The pawn on a4 and the pawn on d6.
Which game?
Bishop on d6. Isaiah's game. Because, yeah, it's... Like I said earlier, I mean... Black has the A pawn, White has the D pawn, but I don't think either of them are going to actually get anywhere. It looks like this is just probably going to be a draw. And let's see what's going on in Doug's game.
Oh, Black resigned. So Doug won that game. All right.
Okay, cool.
3 wins for White.
Yeah, wow. So another pretty good round for Missouri, it looks like.
Five to 2 Missouri so far.
Oh, okay. I see what happened there. Yeah, so the bishop took on g7. King takes e6. d4.
Oh, so he'd get a rook, I guess? Or...
Yeah, yep. Yeah, Nathaniel showed up on Friday night as well. It's been a while, I feel like, since he's been there.
Yeah, he said he's going to play this weekend, so that'll be cool.
Oh, wow, okay.
I tried to get... Ron Luther said he might come, and then I emailed him again, and he said he's got to go to his granddaughter's recital, I guess. And then I asked... it looks like Isaiah's about to win, maybe, on time.
Yeah, I was just noticing some things are getting kind of interesting over here. Position still looks like it's probably a draw, but I don't know. I mean, yeah, the time situation is... White's going to have to... Oh, rook f4? Rook f4 check to swing a piece? Yeah, that's the thing. When you get down to like 10 seconds or less, you're just kind of making automatic moves. But yeah, no, that's cool. That he's going to play in the tournament this weekend. It's too bad about Ron Luther, but hopefully it's a good turnout. So there's some interesting stuff happening in this game. Rook takes c3. Rook takes c5. Oh, okay. So Isaiah's doing really well now. This is the thing, right? Is you can have a position that seems really, really drawish, but when it gets down to these time scrambles, and okay, looks like Isaiah's going to get it because his opponent just hung his rook.
Oh, wow. All right.
Wow. Well, good for him. I realize we're like the most biased commentators of all time.
Yeah.
But
Call the opposition bad guys and stuff like that.
but no, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. You can't get too careful in those kinds of positions because if you get too low on time, and there will be tactics and exchanges happening, and suddenly the position is wildly different. There's one or two really good card pod games in the Galaxy Bind. Really, really pretty.
What do you think the puzzle rating means on chess.com? Is it like 200 or 300 points higher than the real USCF rating, you think?
Puzzle ratings, I don't know, because I've seen some people with some really high puzzle ratings that are much, much higher than the rest of their ratings, like several hundred points higher. So I don't know. I mean, I definitely think they're higher. It's interesting though, because in my experience, blitz ratings on chess.com are oftentimes like very close. I mean, it depends on the person. Like, not everyone is going to be as good at blitz, or some people might be really good at blitz. But like a lot of the people that I know, a lot of people around Springfield, their blitz ratings are pretty close to their actual ratings. So as far as online ratings go, I mean, that to me seems like not the closest correlation I've noticed.
Seems like way at the top it gets distorted the most, I think, where because they're not just playing other grandmasters, like they can play anybody and kind of pad their rating a little bit, maybe.
Oh, yeah. As you go up, I mean, it definitely kind of seems to get much higher as you go up.
I think, wasn't Naka around 3,000 or something?
It's like 3,200 or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah, I know there's multiple people on chess.com who are over 3,000. But it seems like, kind of, I don't know, like, I've seen a lot of, like 17 and 1,800 players. It seems like I've seen a lot of 17 and 1,800s on chess.com that are about that strength in real life. Even up to kind of like the 2,000, 2,200 range, it seems pretty close. It seems like when you get the like some of the best players in the world, I mean, it definitely seems like it gets a little inflated. But
because my goal is to get to 1,400 so I can have a floor. Right now, my floor is 100, so you got to get to 1,400.
Oh, I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was 200 points below all the way down.
But I got my puzzle rating. That's why I was asking I was wondering if I was getting closer to 1,400 maybe. But I got my puzzle rating up to 1,690. But I'll spend like 4 or 5 minutes staring at the puzzle maybe to figure it out. But
right. Yeah.
Hopefully I'm improving. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing though, right? Is that like even if your rating, like if your puzzle rating or tactics rating or what have you is not, close to your actual rating, or even if it's not exactly, if it doesn't line up exactly, I mean, you can still know that if it's getting higher, you're improving.
Right.
So that's still definitely a thing. But let's see.
It's like Romans.
Roman started.
You already knew about that. It's like I just didn't have it refreshed on my other computer. So it looks like Doug started. Doug was the one we were waiting on.
Okay, Gotcha.
And Doug's got black against their board one, Justin Storn. There's a 2257.
Okay.
Clash of the National Masters.
There's that's what we're doing in the tournament this weekend, right? There's an under 1400 section.
Right. Yeah. And it's actually kind of the opposite of the MSU tournaments where they were kind of tough as we thought, tons of strong players. And it looks like the under 1400 here is going to be bigger than the regular section.
Wow. Okay. That's cool.
Which is a good sign for the future of Springfield chess.
No, yeah. I guess I forget you have the people have been submitting the forms to you in advance. So does it seem like it's going to be a pretty good turnout then?
Yeah, let me pull it up and see it. But I've got a list here. Okay, so for the Blitz tournament, we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And Nathaniel's going to be the highest rated in that.
Got it.
And then you and Jared and Brian.
Okay.
Well, I've got a couple of kids in there. But for the G90 in the big boy section right now, we've got Matthew Pratt, Ethan Stech, Brian Rude, Jared Bray, Nathaniel Fast, and Mike Clark. So.
Okay. It's a pretty tough crowd.
And it's pretty even in the under 1400. Because we had one of the players pull out, so I guess it's 6 each.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay. Cool.
And we're getting close to 20 for the simul. So.
Okay, nice. Nice. I'm excited about that. I'm looking at Doug's game here. White's got a
C3.
C3 is hanging, but after Bishop B2, I would not take C3 because White is going to get a lot of activity. I don't know. It seems a little risky. I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
Runs out of places to run with the queen.
Yeah, the queen would be after Bishop B2. I mean, the queen would be forced to kind of just find somewhere on the queen side to be, and during that time, I think White's gonna get a pretty scary kingside attack. I mean, I'm looking at like E5, hitting the knight. The knight moves, maybe even queen H5, hitting H7. And if G6, then you weaken the dark squares. Bishop on B2 might come alive. You could even think about putting the queen on H6 and then sacking the pawn with E6, hitting G7 with mate. Yeah, the pawn on C3 was very much bait. So move the queen back. I'd still be a little bit nervous in this position as black, but with the queen on E7, I feel a little bit less afraid. Because in the other variation with queen takes C3, the queen was going to have to end up, somewhere it probably didn't want to be. But this still looks good for White. I mean, these pawns on E5 and F5, the two bishops, the rook and queen on F1 and E2 supporting those pawns. I mean, Black's got this knight on c7 that's kind of misplaced. I mean, it covers e6, so if white ever wanted to make that advance, it would be not quite as easy, but it doesn't have a lot of plans of its own. Ideally, I mean, knight on d4 would be really nice, but I don't know if that's really going to be feasible. So yeah, I mean, black's definitely not out of this, but you know, just given the nature of the fast time controls, but I would prefer white for sure. Let's see here. How are some of these other games going?
Is that game over?
Is it?
Or am I looking at the old? I might see. Couch potatoes.
Looks like, oh, it is over.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so he. Oh, he's just running that bishop on c5.
I'll play through the game so people can see it, but then I think sometimes I go too fast for people to know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's on YouTube. People can pause if they want to. I see. Check out Doug's game here. Oh, Doug was the one with the with the pawns on e5 and f5. Still looking very good. Let's see here. Roman. Okay. Yeah, Roman's game looks interesting. Yeah, the pawns on e5 and f5 looked pretty good. d4, striking out the center. I would consider, e4. What I was thinking, just keep those strong pawns and kicking that knight out of a big square. Black might put the queen on the g file and have some threats of like knight h3. Part of me wishes that pawn wasn't on f5 though, because then that bishop on c8 would kind of contribute to the attack. As it stands now, it's not really coming in anytime soon, but...
Okay, so who's still going? We got Doug.
Yeah, how's Doug's game going?
Top two boards.
Any changes over
there? White's got his f pawn all the way to f6. And
okay.
e5 and f6, so it looks like it's kind of cramped right there. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is scary for sure. G6 maybe, because the queen can't really come into G7 with the knight on E8, but at the same time, I don't know. He might even do try like a rook lift. Black's got the queen on c6 and the bishop on b7 though, so I'd have to be a little bit careful. But White's never going to get checkmated there if he's paying attention, but things happen in rapid games. Yeah, this is definitely scary because it's looking like the threat is f takes g7, knight takes g7, e6. Then you're opening up the bishop on b2 to the pinned knight on g7. Queen can't swing over to like g6 or anything like that because of the bishop on d3. So you may have to consider like sacking the exchange on d3 first and then bringing, well, he doesn't even have time to do that because queen g7 is just mate. So yeah, g6 would be my first inclination because that seems to be holding everything for the time being, but White can just make lots of threats and keep Black tied down. It might get a little difficult, even if there's not a checkmate right now. Yeah, it's always interesting to me when a strong player, or it always catches my attention when a strong player makes a committal move like that, because the pawns on f5 and e6 are good and had a lot of, they have a lot of potential, and sometimes, depending on the position, strong players will be content to leave those pawns there, or leave good pieces where they are, and threaten all of the things that they could do, maintain all the threats and all the tension in the position. So when a strong player makes a committal move and actually decides on one, it generally means that they see something concretely good about it. So yeah, in this position, f6 might just be a huge advantage. But who knows? Maybe Black will hold this. I mean, I could be completely wrong. But I'm thinking like g6, maybe even h4.
Would White take with the bishop if you played g6?
I don't think he would do that yet.
I was looking at like f takes and then the f7. I guess that doesn't work if you do h takes.
Right. I think h takes would hold it for the moment. So yeah, you'd have to be careful about that. But if you could get in h4 and h5, and then take on g6 with the h pawn, and then take on g6 with the bishop, then you'd be in great shape, I think. But you might be. But I'd be looking at like g6, h4. E6 right away. Huh. Yeah, because if Black takes that either way, he takes with the pawn, f7, or even bishop takes g6. If he takes with the queen, then he can trade queens on e6 and then play f7. So he has to leave that pawn there, but that... Yep. This just looks Looks winning now. King takes f7, queen takes g6. Yep. Black resigns. Got it. Okay.
Me so far, Doug lost, Panda lost, and Gadson won, right?
Yes.
In round 3. So far, I've got a 7-4 lead.
Looks like Roman's got some good stuff going on here. Roman is down 2 pieces right now. He's going to win the bishop on h3. Instinctively, I'm a little bit nervous. Well, his knight and bishop are kind of out of the game on the queen side, but white's entire queen side is undeveloped, and his king is open. So it looks pretty good for Roman, possibly. And he's got these rooks centralized. Whenever queen takes h3 comes, he might just lift one of the rooks and bring it over the h-file, and that might be that. He also has 2 extra minutes, so... Interesting. Queen takes d8, queen takes f3. Ah, that is a killer. So now even bishop g2, queen takes e1. White can't defend the rook, or it can't defend the rook and the queen. Queen takes f2. Yeah.
White resigned.
Nicely done.
All right, so after 3 rounds, Missouri has an 8-4 lead over Ohio.
Nice.
Which ensures at least a draw. Like if we drop the...
Oh, right. If it's just if Ohio sweeps the next round, it's just a tie.
Yeah.
Which
is unlikely, I think, maybe.
Looks like Roman's already started.
In the first week, we had the win after 3 rounds. It was kind of fun just to relax and...
Right, at that point, all the players can just kind of be like, okay, the pressure's off.
We actually took first place after week 1 because we were tied with the others who won, but also we had the lead in games.
Oh, okay.
Which is the tiebreaker, so.
Yeah.
But now we got to get it back because Michigan got 16 free game points last week.
Yeah, that is a bit inconvenient. Well, we got a Carl Kahn here on Roman's game. That's pretty interesting.
And this should be the round where everybody plays their counterpart, like board 1 versus board 1, board 2 versus 2.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
I don't see Isaiah's game. Maybe he hasn't started yet.
Maybe not.
Okay, you got Doug pulled up.
It's So I'm looking at just knight takes d4. Maybe he doesn't have to take that pawn right away. Looks like he's probably going to win it either way.
What move are you looking at?
Knight takes d4. I wasn't sure if he's going to take the pawn right away or if he's going to delay that for a minute. It looks like he's going to win that pawn pretty much no matter what. So
you're on Doug's game?
Yeah.
And white played. I'm trying to look at what knight can take d4. Oh, I'm sorry. The other white knight. Okay. So you're getting scared I was on the wrong game again?
Yeah. So he's down a pawn right now, but he's definitely going to win that d4 pawn back. Looks like. I
want to warm up my coffee.
There's some tension on the c file, the rook and the black queen, but black might not be worried about that. Right.
I still don't have a game for Isaiah.
Huh. Yeah, I switched over to Panda's game. He's like already in an end game, pretty much.
Okay.
White has definitely got a lot more activity. I mean, it seems like black's kind of got threats covered, but there's not a lot black can do. Let me try to get his rook going on the G file, but yeah, white's got his C pawn now. That could pose some problems.
Holy cow. I think Gadson's game is over. Just went 12 moves. But they played they played the whole thing and I missed it.
Wow. Did he win?
Try to see what happened here. I guess he trapped white's queen.
Ah. Oh, wow. Interesting. So, yeah, white just straight up took the pawn on b7, and the queen's just trapped.
Isaiah said you can't do that. All right.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
All right. We got 9-4.
So now Missouri is.
We've got the match point, yeah.
And you got the match. Just a matter of.
And then we'll see if we can gain some of our game points back. See if I get our game point lead again. Last year we had the game point lead too, most of the season.
Looking at, I've pulled up Roman's game here. Hmm. It seems like he has a good position. Black still hasn't castled yet. White's already got his rooks kind of where he wants them, and his queen and knights are all pretty good. Black has the C file. Okay. So, let's see.
Wow, so Gadson ends with 3.5 points on tonight. And he's our top
Yeah,
scorer in the league so far.
He's killing it. He's killing it, for sure. Let's see, I think Doug's game is the only one I haven't looked at yet.
He switched to Doug. There we go.
I have looked at it. Yeah, this was the one where we were not sure if he was going to take on D4 or not. Looks like he didn't. Got a pawn on D6. Could be good, but I don't really see it going anywhere. Not yet, anyway.
I think Panda's got an advantage. He's got 2 rooks and a bishop versus 2 rooks and a bishop, but he's also up 2 pawns.
Oh, really?
I counted right. 4, yeah.
Let's see here.
And 2 of White's pawns are doubled, so maybe they're more vulnerable. Plus a 5-minute time advantage.
He does have 5 extra minutes. Wow. It's hard to even tell what's going on here exactly. So,
Can White stop the H pawn?
I don't know if he's going to even try. It looks like he might just be going for checkmate or promoting his C pawn.
Oh, because rook's on 7.
I mean, right now the threat is rook takes D8, king takes D8, rook A8, mate. So black has to do something about that. Okay, rook C5. Well, now might be able to take C6, and then after the exchange of rook A8, he would have the D7 square. So that just seems, yeah, now that he's got the C pawn, suddenly this looks very good. For him, I was a little bit concerned, but just visually it looked threatening. But now, bishop E5 now, though. Oh. See, rook D7, I'm not sure about, because I think bishop E5 on the last move almost had to be played to stop that pawn, because now, well, no, okay. Rook D7 is threatening mate. That's the interesting thing, is that Black's just had to keep an eye on these back rank threats. But I don't know. Well, in this position, I'm looking at a2, rook a3, rook d6, and then rook to... that doesn't work. Ah. So he's deflecting the rook now. So probably, yeah, bishop e5. The rook exchange happens. And now black doesn't really have to worry about the h-pawn, it seems. Seems like there's been a lot of opposite color bishop games. Maybe it was just this one, and I don't know. There was the Gadson game earlier that he got the win. It might have just been this one and that one, but interesting stuff. So let's see, any developments in any of the other games?
I can't tell on Doug's game. And then he's got a pawn. I don't think the pawn's going to survive, it looks like. Unless there's some trick on it.
Let's see.
And I think Roman trading a knight for a rook. Looks like he's up 5, and the only thing that's threatened is the knight. So I think the knight just took a rook. Yeah, so Roman forked the king and rook. Took the rook, and I think the bishop's about to take the knight, so he'll be up in exchange. Well, no.
Let me flip over to his game here.
I wonder why he didn't take the knight.
So... oh, it's because the white queen is hanging. And the black queen was hanging, so queen c7, renewing the threat on the white queen, and then just taking the knight after. But black's just up a piece. Knight to f5. Oh no, I'm sorry. Black's not up a piece. There's a rook on a1. This board is really small, so it's on my phone, so it's... I've got it flipped this way, so it's kind of scrunched off to the side.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't even notice that rook.
Looks like he's got a rook and a knight for 2 bishops.
Yep, yeah, he's up in exchange. Now there's a threat on f2, rook f3, okay. I mean, black does have 2 bishops and two center pawns, so I mean, you know, practically he might have some ideas, even if objectively.
Sorry, looks like Panda won his game.
Oh, good. Cool. Yeah, I'll go back to that one and see what happened there.
Well, I guess Panda was going to get a pawn across and they couldn't stop it.
Ah. Oh, wow, yeah, he got his king all the way down there. So what?
10-4, good guys.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So he had two H pawns, and he just sacked the one to get his king onto H3. Once his king gets onto D2, then the bishop can't snap the other pawn. Okay, nicely done. Very, very nice. That's what I was thinking earlier. I was like, I mean, if Black could just get his king over there to support the pawn, it would be great. Yeah, just playing H2 and giving up the other one is or giving up that first pawn to create squares for the king is a really, really good idea.
Oh, Roman offered. I was trying to figure out why Roman offered a queen trade, but he's got rook A8. Checkmate. No, that's pretty good. Or no, check. The bishop and rook both cover F.
Let's see. Ah, yep. Interesting. Queen F8, maybe? Queen takes C5? Bishop takes E2. There's a knight hanging. Maybe that's fine, though. I mean, white's up in exchange. I wouldn't be too terribly opposed to just trading. Trades off the rooks. Maybe like Queen D6 is seems good. E5 and F6 hangs, and you can't really cover the pawn except for just giving up another one D4. But now the pawn on F6 and the bishop on C4 are attacked, so yeah, seems very, very good for Roman, for sure.
Looks like Doug lost his game.
Doug lost?
Yeah, he lost, so we're 10-5.
Okay.
So Doug Eckert ends with 2.5 points for tonight.
Oh, shoot. Just yeah, just missed the queen hanging on d4. Kind of a crowded position. If you're trying to play fast, it can be easy to just miss it. A piece like that is just not protected. Okay, so Roman's just got yeah. Roman just won his game.
All right.
And who we got left? Anybody?
That's it. Let's see. The final score is 11-5, Missouri.
Nice.
So round 4, I've
Nice.
got Roman 1, Doug lost, Isaiah 1, Asish 1.
Yep.
Does that sound right? Okay.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So that'll get us back,
Yeah.
depending on what happens with Michigan. It might be in
Yeah.
first or second. So.
Yeah, no, that was a really, really good match by the Missouri team, though.
Actually, I can maybe look to see how Michigan's doing here. Okay, so Minnesota's beating Michigan 8-2 so far, and they're in the third round.
Okay. So things are looking pretty good.
Yeah, and then they look at the standings. I've got it all on different devices here. Okay, so Michigan and Minnesota both had 2 match points already, and so we'll tie one of them, and the other one will stay ahead of us. Minnesota's, I think, the tougher team. They're the ones that we lost by 1 point to last week.
Okay.
But we might have gained some ground on game points, I think.